Oh my gosh.
I know. So we've got some questions from the jar that have come directly from our jar team members. So the first question from the jar comes from our Jardian teammate Mandy, Mandy Alcore, who's our director of delivery. She's amazing. So the question from her is, when we first started Jar, what were we confidently wrong about early on?
Huh. I think we're confidently wrong about the idea that companies would be interested in sponsoring podcasts that they did not have a direct hand in developing the content for. So, as you may recall, we weren't sure when we started the company whether we would be concepting shows from the ground up or whether we would be kind of licensing already existing shows or show ideas and then kind of selling them to companies and giving them the opportunity to sponsor. We kind of went out with like a testing both sort of model, and we quickly learned that companies actually care and want to be involved in the content that they're producing. And so we always take a collaborative approach.
Totally. And I think that when we first started Jar, we were confidently wrong about the idea that brands, big brands in particular, were going to be able to properly market their own shows. Like, I don't know if you remember sitting in a very, very large boardroom at a very, very large company that had like floors and floors and floors of marketers, and kind of building our business model around the idea that we'll make the podcast as long as you guys promote it, as long as you guys push it up, because you've got these teams of marketers that are going to know how to do that. And we quickly learned that they didn't know how to do that.
No,
So
because marketing a podcast is a really specific challenge, right?
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think the one of the problems was that they were just tossing a podcast into the mix of blog posts and social content and newsletters. And to your point, a podcast needs to be treated as its own unique thing.
Yeah, like you got to know how to operate in the podcast ecosystem and to treat the podcast as the center of a content ecosystem, right? You can chop it up, you can do a lot of things with it, but it needs to be kind of deliberate and intentional. And I think we've learned that the hard way.
Definitely. But I also think that we turned it around into building an entire audience growth team
Yeah,
that
and there's
has,
that.
really been one of the leaders in the industry, and is something that is now table stakes when it comes to delivering with our clients.
Yeah, you definitely learn what not to do, right?
Like when you start a business,
Yeah, when you start a business, you definitely learn what not to do as much as you learn what to do. And both are valuable
yeah, mistakes become your friend in a
in a
as
way.
as scary as that sounds. Like
Yeah.
you literally build the company based off of mistakes,
I'm not even going to call them mistakes. I think we were just laboring under a misapprehension.
also known as a mistake. Second
Oh,
question from the jar, which is
wait,
also
wait,
from
wait. Start again.